Hey guys, welcome to the channel, and this is a new follower gift for all of my lovely new subscribers and followers here on YouTube as well as on Twitter. I do these periodically just to give a shout out to you guys and to thank you for supporting me and what I love doing. And yeah, I'm really appreciative, and I just wanted to let you guys know how important you are to me. I do these because I feel like it's important that you guys know that I do see all your comments, and I do see you guys as not just a number in my subscriber counter, but as actual people. So yeah, so I put a poll on Twitter and I was like, hey, what do you guys want to see for a new follower gift? And most people were like, hey, we want to see a family base game only type home. So I was very excited because I haven't done a family home in a long time, and I don't know, just something about them is really sweet, and I love doing them, and just having the stipulation of only using base game items is just another layer of challenge, because there was many a times when I was like, oh, I could use this item. Oh, I can't because it's not base game. Oh, which made me sad. But I think it turned out good for the most part, even though I was very limited in the items that I could use. So we made do. I think I want to go back into this house and maybe refurnish it with items that I wanted to use that weren't base games. So maybe I'll do that, and I'll show you guys what I do with it without the limitation. But probably my favorite thing about this house is the little turret in the back, and I think that's something that makes this house a little unique in its shape, so that it's not just a typical American suburban home. Now we're going on into the inside, and this is the entryway. Most suburban homes have some sort of entryway or foyer where there's the stairs and like a landing kind of where you would have your shoes or a closet or something like that, or a coat closet. So that's what I was doing here, and I like the idea of mixing the wood with stone. So stone would be right in front of the door, which would make sense to me because if it's raining or snowing or whatever, that's much easier to clean, and you wouldn't have to worry about protecting the wood necessarily. So yeah, I like that idea. I think I might use that elsewhere or in another build sometime. I kind of imagined a more well-off family that lives here, that has a boy and a girl who are maybe in middle school or elementary, something like that. And then they also have a toddler, which is another girl. And I feel like they would have a pretty decent job to afford this type of home, but they like a more traditional style, which, to be honest, I was kind of forced into because a lot of the items in the base game are very traditional looking, so that's okay. I mean, it's fine. It's what most families in America have, I think. Just a very comfortable style. I had a hard time with this kitchen and the layout of it, especially what tile and paint to use in the kitchen, because I didn't want it to be too feminine or too masculine. I kind of wanted it to be neutral, but I don't know. it was a little hard because I wasn't sure how to make it look functional and lived in with the items I had, especially, the clutter items. I kind of wanted the stove area to be separate from everything else, and there is an island in front of it eventually. Here I am just building the island, which is in front of the stove with a kitchen sink in front. I personally would love to have this type of setup as far as like having a sink on an island counter that's in front of the stove, because I think that would help a lot with cooking and would be very practical. And of course, there's another sink where the dishwasher is right there on the opposite wall. I also thought this was kind of pretty, having like 3 chandeliers above the island, but one is bigger than the other, so they kind of like cascade down. I don't know. I thought that was kind of nice. And now we're doing the dining. Well, it's not technically the dining room. It's more like a breakfast nook, or like an informal dining room from the kitchen. And I ended up changing the table, I think, to a square table. And yeah, I would have liked to use something else in this space if I had more options. But, maybe when I go back into this house and refurnish, I'll have something better. I think I might publish, or record rather, what I do differently in the house maybe next week for you guys, because I think that would be really fun just to go back and refurnish it. This was actually inspired by something I saw online or somewhere, but there was this like console table, or like a buffet table in the dining area, and it had this like gigantic mirror on top of it. So I thought it might be cool if I used one of the frames on one of the paintings and just kind of overlaid the mirror on top, so it looks like it was this giant mirror, which actually worked better than I thought it would, honestly. I didn't think that it would work, and it doesn't really glitch at all, and yeah, so that made me a very happy Adri. So this back here is the porch area, and oh my gosh, you guys, what I wouldn't have given to use the backyard stuff items for this build, because there was so many things in that pack that I wanted to use for this, but I just couldn't, and it made me so sad. Just like patio furniture and like potted plants and like garden decorations, and even the bird feeder I wanted to use. Oh, it made me sad, but I did what I could with what I had, and I think it turned out really well. I at first put a pool back here, and like I thought about it later. I don't know. Like, if you think of a suburban dream home, usually you think of a house that has a pool, but I changed my mind and I decided to do more of a garden type thing back there, because I felt like the mom would want to be like a freelance botanist type of sim, so that would make more sense to me. Plus, I just wanted an excuse to do a really fancy garden. So, but, I mean, we'll just stick with, I was, trying to be cohesive with the family I put in here. So this is kind of like the formal dining area, which is a little bit weird. I might change it later, because it's kind of in the open part of the house. I think it would have made more sense to put the formal dining room where I put like the breakfast or informal dining area, because I don't know. But in my head at the time, I figured it would be more practical if the informal dining area was closer to the kitchen, especially since there's a toddler. And I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about that, but maybe I won't. Maybe it's fine. But also, I put like a formal living area here, like next to the formal dining, so that kind of made sense too in a way. So I imagined that the mom in the family that lives here, I imagine that she's like some type of big shot, like editor at like a home magazine or something like that, and like for Southern Living or something. And I actually put a like framed magazine editorials in the kitchen, and I imagine that was something that she created and was even on the cover of one. So she's actually inspired by the lady that's on the cover of that editorial magazine thing. So this room here is like the informal living room, and I wanted it to feel very comfortable, kind of traditional, and I did want an accent wall though, and I changed the red to, I think, like a mint or a light blue color. Of course, we have to have the comfy chair that every average American family seems to have. And yeah, and I also put like a little play area for the toddler, because I figured that it's not only important to have like the toys on like in their room, but also important to have some on the bottom floor, because toddlers, I mean, they're a little bit difficult to maneuver around. This is the little play area in the informal living room. So I have like a little rug, a bright rug with a dollhouse and a toy chest, and a few toys scattered here and about. So I don't know, I thought this was really cute to have in like a living room area, so that way if your Sims are watching TV or whatever and they need the toddler to be close by, then that would be a really great place to have your toddler. I thought this was kind of cool too. I really wanted to use one of the curtains as a shower curtain, but I did have to make a wall just so I could place the curtain, and I don't know yet if it actually is functional, like if the Sims can get into the bathtub. I'm not entirely sure, but I will test it and I will let you guys know when I upload this video if that works, because I really would like to keep it. It's really cute, I think. So in the garage, I wanted to include like a workbench and maybe like storage for tools or other things that might need to work on the car. What I thought was weird, that the wood for like the taller cabinet, it doesn't match any of the bottom cabinets. Neither do the top cabinets, and it was driving me insane. Of course, we have to have hoses inside the garage as well as on the side of the house. And I thought here maybe it might be cute to have like random stuff just kind of stored in the garage, and because that's really how it is. That's pretty realistic, I think. And I didn't know those candles existed, and I didn't know that they were a base game. Not those candles, but the ones like in a container. Really weird. Never noticed them before. So I got rid of some of the counters, and I decided to add like white counters because I really wanted the washer and dryer to be in the garage. So what I did was I sized up the pool lights, and I ended up putting it on the counter so it would look like a washer and dryer. Because this is base game, and I didn't want to use any CC, obviously, so got a little creative with that. It kind of looks real. Kinda. I also thought it would be funny to put some Christmas decorations up here on the shelf, like they've been stored away in the garage as they are. So this room is the office, or the office, or like an art room, kinda. I didn't really know what to do with it, honestly, because a lot of the stuff I wanted to use, I couldn't use. So I was pretty limited there. But I did my best, and I think that it turned out pretty well regardless of that. I thought it was kind of nice attaching the desk to the bookcase as if it were like one unit, kind of. So this is a drafting table on the other side where I figured that the mom would do her editorial drafts and her design work there. And then this is just kind of like the home computer where the kids will play or do homework or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of basically the office. There's really not much to this room. So I wanted to do a little bit of landscaping, and from what I've noticed, a lot of suburban type homes have like these squiggly paths or rounded paths that have landscaping in them. So yeah, that's kind of what I did here in the front. And it is sometimes helpful if you kind of put little patches of dirt first using the terrain paint, just so you get an idea of where things are going to be, and you can just erase it and put it somewhere else if you decide. I typically like to put little patches of dirt under trees and bushes and flowers and things like that, because I feel like it makes it look more realistic in a way. So at this point is when I just decided to delete the entire thing and start over. I wanted to change the original stone fencing that I used before and just make it wood, because I wanted it to be more realistic and more homey and just feel warmer in general. So I added these flower beds that go all the way along the fencing and kind of frame the gate here. I ended up changing this little spot here to a more gravel looking terrain paint because I wanted a little bit of a different texture next to the pavers, and I used the same gravel for somewhere else in the backyard, I think for a little bench, and I wanted to try something a little different, and so I used one of the round tables and then put a longer table on top of it, because the little round table had an umbrella, but none of the longer tables had umbrellas in the base game items, so had to be a little creative there. I don't know if that works either. I'll let you know later. What I've been doing a lot lately is using the flat flower beds and kind of putting them underneath the lower bushes, and I really like the look of it because it kind of just trims the bottom and adds a little bit of color that you wouldn't have had normally. And yeah, so I just was going around putting bushes and little shrubs here and there that would surround the backyard. I think it turned out really pretty. I love this backyard. I wouldn't mind having this backyard at all. Went around adding some little bunnies to the garden. I thought that would be really, really cute, especially since it's going to be spring soon. And obviously I had to add some gnomes in the garden. There's plenty of places where the gnomes can hide. Started working on the little girl's room first. Thank goodness for the toddler base game update. Otherwise, I would have had even a harder time than I did with the kids' rooms, because you don't really know like how amazing the kid stuff pack is until you don't have it anymore. Like, I felt so limited with the kids. So if that's a pack you don't have yet, I highly recommend that you get it because it makes making kids' rooms so much more fun and accurate to what they actually have. But the toddler update stuff really, really helped a lot. And I like this a lot. If you put down the balloons with the clouds and then put the clouds and size them up like on top of it, it looks kind of like the balloons were further away. And I don't know, I really like that. For her bedroom, I was going for like a pink and blue and like a purple theme just to match the balloons and the clouds. And I imagined that it would be kind of like a fairy princess room or something like that. I put the princess decals in the window, which I thought was adorable. One of each color. I wish there was 2 other colors so I could put it in the other windows, but I don't know, I thought it looked fine. Of course I had to have the rainbow curtains because those are my favorite curtains in the game, I think. Besides the white ones that came with City Living. I love those too. I ended up changing the floor from a carpet to like a light wood color, which I think really warmed up the space a lot. And I was also able to use a rug, which I love doing. And I thought this was kind of a neat idea, using alternating little star mobiles next to the clouds that are lights. I thought it was really cute, especially if you look up, and yeah, that's what I was going for really with that. Yeah, for his room, I was thinking like pirates and treasure and things like that. I actually used to love to pretend I was a pirate when I was a kid. I was obsessed with pirates. And I remember I used to have this play set in the backyard, and it was just one of those like rinky-dink metal play sets with like 2 swings and a slide, but I had so much fun with it, and I used to pretend I was the captain of the ship, and the playset was the ship, and the slide was kind of like the plank, you know? So, yeah. It reminded me a lot of my childhood doing this room. And I was also excited to use this gnome that had like a floaty on. I thought that was really cute for this room, as well as using one of the fish bowls and the green dragon stuffed animal and the green monster toy chest. I thought might be kind of like, you know, like sea monsters or something. I thought that was kind of cute. Moving on to the toddler room. And the toddler room is, I think, kind of similar to the girls' room, except the toddler room is bunny themed. So in her room, there is a lot of like pinks and greens and oranges and blues. I was mostly going off of the color scheme that was in the little paint dabs in the paint there that also came with the toddler stuff. And I don't know, it was just really, really perfect. And I really liked how the shelf, the little cloud shelf, kind of fit on top of the nightstand. It just made it a little more cutesy, and yeah, I really liked it for this room. I love the bright blue floor tiles that I use in the bathroom, and it worked so well with the ombre yellow walls. And I don't know if this works either, but I have used this before in a previous build in which I put a little shelf on top of the bathtub, and it still worked, so I'll let you guys know about that too. I wanted this bathroom to be the kids' bathroom, so it's very bright and it's very colorful, and this is where you can bathe the toddler most of the time. Like I said before, you can also use the bathroom downstairs, whichever is easiest, but this is definitely the kids' bathroom. All the kids share it, which I think is also pretty realistic. And just so you guys know, I did use a ton of move objects, the cheat. So, make sure you have that on before you place the house if you decide to download this house, because there is a ton of stuff that is placed using that cheat. So just want to give you a heads up, because I know that it's so frustrating when you forget or when you don't have it on and you place something and everything goes missing. So yeah, just letting you guys know. I really liked how their bathroom came out. I think it's very practical and it's a nice size, not too big but not too small either. It has everything you might need with some beautiful double doors to go into the bathroom. I wanted to put in like a walk-in closet, but those came with the get-together pack. So yeah, just adding a robe and some double sinks, as well as a beautiful shower. And yeah, I think it turned out really, really nice. I like this shower, or this bathroom. I would have probably enjoyed having this bathroom in real life if I lived in this house. I loved this idea. I put one of the cork boards in the kitchen, and if you go into the hidden objects by debug, you can actually find postcards that you can put on the cork board, and it looks really cute. But yeah, just adding some little details around the house and in the rooms. I think we're almost done with this house, but I just wanted to thank you guys again so much for watching and for supporting me. I really didn't think that I would ever get this far, and we still have a long way to go, and I'm just happy that I can do that with all of you. And I will definitely, I think, be improving myself, and as we go along, I feel like I have already, but yeah, just thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!